So I want to share with us the hack I found in making a shell dress, which is the smoky dress without the threads pulling out. Do you get? So can you see this one? It's not pulling out. The edges, every part of it is secured. Like this time around, I wasn't battling with the elastic thread cutting also. So I'm going to share that with us. Here is my thread. I have it seated in water for a very long time. Even before I started cutting the dress, the material, I have it seated in water. It makes it move, it makes it remove from the bobbin easily when you're sewing. So I soaked it in water. So from here now, that's how I made this one. So I just want to show us with the other part, right? So that's how I made this one. It was easy to make. So here is my reeler. So I'm just going to pass the thread round it. You can see it that I'm doing it. The thread is inside the water. So you have to soak your elastic thread in water. That is, if you have the one, because I've really not gotten any elastic thread that doesn't really cut while I'm sewing. So I found this hack really very helpful, and I'm going to show us how I also secure the edges of the secured the edges of the one I've made. So the second part now, I want to sew it so that we see how I did it, and you can see that the edges, they are very well secured. So you can see me passing the thread through it. Now another thing you should take note of is you not like tightening the thread, stretching it. Okay, you don't have to. So you just do it. You're doing it loose, like just pass it around. You don't use force, don't drag any part of the elastic thread. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. By the time I'm done now, we are going to be sewing the second part together to an extent to show us how I did it and how it was easier for me to work on this time. This is my second time of making a shirt dress. I made one for myself. If you want to see a full video of how to make a shirt dress, I have it on my YouTube channel, and I'll be dropping the link in the comment section or on my bio so that you can go and see it if you've not seen it. That one is very detailed, how many inches you need to add to your normal body measurement to get it. Everything is there. Okay, so we're done passing the thread. So I'm just going to fix the thread to the machine. Now don't forget that the thread is meant to be underneath the machine. The elastic thread is meant to be underneath the machine. Okay, so I'm just going to pass the thread. So you can see we're going to get the second part of the shirt of the dress to start making the gathers, right? So this is what we have. This is going to be the first line we sew on. This second line is full tiny. Okay, so I'm not going to sew on this one, I'll be sewing on this one. So make sure you hold your straight lines. Okay, it serves as a guide. If not, your work is not going to come out neat. You see the other one, how neat it is. So what you do, the first thing you want to do now is to tighten it from the beginning. Okay, just do back stitches from the beginning. So I'm going to show us the control switch for the stitches. So I'm going to pull up the phone to show us that part. So here is the control switch. Okay, you can see the control switch where it is. This is where it is as I'm sewing, is number 3, right? Number 3. It should be between number 3 or 2.5 is okay. If you take it downwards, like that's the mistake I make in the last one. They say you take it to number 5 or you just make it loose. It doesn't come out well, especially if you are using an industrial machine. I don't know about the manual, right? So it's on number 3. This is where I'm sewing with. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to sew like this. Then I will tell us the other place I will take it to secure the edges. Okay, so this is what, take notes. This is number 3. That's the point I'm sewing with. Okay. So I went ahead to adjust it a bit for us to see exactly what I'm doing very clearly. So leaving it at number 3 now, I'm going to continue sewing. Please don't rush it, okay? And don't drag your part before you're sewing it. allow your machine to pull the fabric to the other side on its own. Okay, so you just continue sewing it like so. So this is another thing you need to take note of. So you just pin the fabric down with your needle. You bring your needle down to hold it, then raise it up, right? You raise this leg up, then you turn. So you're turning it now. This is the next line we are meant to sew this way, okay? So now we're going to run another stitch straight to this next line. But you have to know that the tension, the control switch for the stitch, it does not have to remain in number 3. So I'm going to pull the phone to that part to show us how to do the tightening. So now for you to do the side tightening very well, you're going to pull it to number 1. You're taking it to number 1. Okay, so I have to press it down. I have to press this part down for me to be able to pull it. But because I'm holding the phone with one hand, it's quite difficult. Okay, so you can see that it is now on number 1. Can you see it? It's now on number 1, and this is what we have here. So it's from that number 1, we'll run a very tiny stitch to the next line, which is this line. Okay, this is the next line. I told us this second line is too close to the first line, so I'm not sewing on that one. This is the next line. So the number 1 that the switch is right now is what we use to sew a straight stitch straight to the next line that we are working on. Then after sewing to this part, we cannot change it back. We cannot change this part back to number 3 to run a straight line. That's how you will continue changing the switch until you are done. So you can see that I've set up the camera so that you can see the switch part. So remember that it's now number 1. So I'm sewing straight down to the next line like so. Can you see? Now you do it gradually, you don't rush it, so that just do it gradually. Once you get there, then you put your needle down, raise the leg up, then turn it, right? You turn it this way, then you switch it back to number 3. Can you see? Switch it back to number 3. And when you're back to number 3, you can continue with your gathers again. Can you see? Same thing we've done here now. We're repeating it for this part. Now this is how you will continue sewing it until you are done. Okay, so this part now we're just going to run another straight stitch to the next line. This is the next line. So I'm taking my stitch back to number 1, right? So I can now sew gradually down to the next line. So this is the next line. I'm just going to turn it the other way around. Can you see? Then I'm going back to number 3. It's quite stressful, but this is what we hold the threads down at the edges so that it doesn't pull. Because when you're cutting and cutting too much, it will start pulling. Your work will not be neat. It has happened to me before. So this one is quite stressful, but it is worth it. It will give you a very neat work. Okay. So you can see what we've done. Can you see it? See the edges? The edges are very, very secure. Can you see? You can see no matter how you pull it, it's not going to cut. Okay? So that's how it is. So I will continue with it like this until I'm done.